I just want to celebrate another game they're winning. I just want to celebrate. Sens win 6-2 over the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hey, Mystery, how'd you like that one?
Dude, you beat the Leafs. They stink right now. That's like being proud of beating the Ducks.
Even his negativity can't ruin my mood today. They beat the Leafs. They beat the Leafs. In fact, they smoked the Leafs. What a glorious week to be a Sens fan. 2 wins in a row for Ottawa, and the Leafs spent the week getting filled in and finished it by getting hammered by the Sens. Joe Walsh said it best. Life's been good to me so far, or at least it has been this week. The Leafs start the week getting hammered by the league's best team. Then halfway through the week they get hammered by an average team. Then near the end of the week, they would have got hammered again, except the team they played against hasn't played with a goalie in the net since 2000. And then they finished the week getting absolutely filled in by the league's worst team. I can't wait to watch this team get killed in the playoffs. Oh, the Leafs are going to win the cup. Oh, the Leafs are awesome. Oh, the Leafs, the Leafs, the Leafs. Well, guess what? The Leafs just got hammered by the Sens. I have not, all season long, gotten greater joy out of watching a hockey game than I did last night. The best part was, it wasn't even like Ottawa just outscored them either. They ran them out of the building. From the very second that puck dropped last night, Ottawa routed the Leafs. Absolutely dominated them. We were like halfway through the first period, the shots were 10-1. By the end of the first period, the shots were 17-10. By the end of the second period, they were 30-19. Last night was a perfect example of why they say, you've got to play the games. It was supposedly one of the best teams in the NHL against the worst team in the NHL. But when it was all said and done, the worst team in the NHL made one of the best teams in the NHL look like the worst team in the NHL. Bergie Marshy Pasta, you get the Leafs in the first round of the playoffs. As for the Sens, though, it was a very gratifying win in an otherwise awful season. Let's just get into lineup changes. After making a few on Thursday, there were a few more in this one. Up front, Colin White continues to deal with an injury, so the Sens rolled with the same 12 forwards they used in their win over St. Louis on Thursday. On the blue line, though, the Sens received some reinforcements. Mark Borowiecki was healthy following a bout with the stomach flu, while Christian Jarosz was also able to return after dealing with a lower body injury. Those two drew back into the lineup as Eric Brandstrom and Cody Golubeff drew out and were returned to Belleville. In goal, Anders Nilsson got a second straight start after picking up a shutout over the Blues on Thursday. And in yearly going, like I mentioned off the top, Nilsson wasn't all that busy as the Sens took it to the Leafs. Doesn't take very long in the game for Leaf fans to feel nervous and start a Go Leafs Go chant inside the Sens home arena. Now let's talk about this for just a minute, because although I'm not entirely surprised, I have a bone to pick with Leaf fans. Why do you hate the Sens so bad? I get it. You want to watch the Leafs, and God forbid you pay to go watch them at the Scotiabank Arena. It's expensive, and tickets aren't that available. I get it. But go to Buffalo or Detroit or Montreal. Please don't come to Ottawa. Why are tickets available in Ottawa? Because nobody wants to go watch them play. Why? A large part of that? The owner. So Sens fans are staying away because they don't want to support an owner that they cannot stand. So what do Leaf fans do? They show up in droves, basically fill out the arena, give Melnyk all the money in the world, and completely undo any of the work that Sens fans are trying to do. Further benefiting Melnyk, further putting money in his pocket, and giving him less reason to sell the team. Thanks a lot, Leaf fans. You really did us a solid there. I guess it makes sense. Why wouldn't the Leafs want to sabotage the Sens any way they could? What better way than to sabotage the team so the owner sticks around? But see, the joke's on you, because Ottawa dominated! But they play there again 2 weeks from Saturday, so please don't show up. Thankfully, it didn't take the Sens long to quiet those Leaf fans down. Just over 6 minutes into the first period, Max Verino makes an excellent play at the Leafs blue line, slides a pass over to a streaking Christian Wolanin. He sees Cody Ceci streaking through the middle, slides a pass over to him. He skates in untouched, wires one by Garrett Sparks, and the Sens lead 1-0. That's Ceci's first goal since December 28th, snapping a 32-game goalless streak, and it came at the perfect time. What a perfect goal for the Sens. The only thing that could have made it better was if it was Pajot that got the assist instead of Wolanin. Ver now gets his first NHL point in his second NHL game. The Ottawa native also scores his first NHL point in his first game in the Battle of Ontario. He also helped set up another Ottawa native as Cody Ceci got the goal, and Ottawa was just running wild all over Toronto, all over everywhere. Both teams get some chances through the rest of the period, neither find the back of the net, and the Sens take a 1-0 lead into the first intermission. The teams come out in the second period, and the Sens vegan meal gets even more delicious. At almost the exact same time as the Sens scored in the first period, they get another in the second. After Cody Ceci scored at 6:36 of the first, Brian Gibbons scores at 6:48 of the second, and the Sens lead 2-0. Gibbons carries the puck into the Leafs zone, wheels around the zone, drops it for Duclair. He dekes out Marner, fires a shot on goal. Sparks makes a save. Bodker picks up the puck behind the net, skates in front along the boards, sends it up the wall to DeMello at the blue line. He fires a shot on goal. Sparks stops that one. Gibbons picks up the rebound, sends it on goal. It somehow gets through Sparks, and there's the Sens leading 2-0. That's when I have to assume Sparks is going to want back. That's not a great goal to give up. But the truth is, it really wasn't his fault. The Leafs really didn't do anything to stop the Sens. Ottawa got the puck, skated wherever they want, got the loose pucks, fired those on goal, got those loose pucks, and put them in the net. How much of that is on Sparks? That was just Ottawa caring about the game, and the Leafs not. Let's face it, in the NHL, sure, there's a lot of skill involved. But at the end of the day, if you want to have success, it all comes down to effort. Ottawa had it, Toronto didn't on this play, and Ottawa got the goal. But with about 7.5 minutes left in the second period, the Leafs pull back to within a goal. And the hockey gods come through for the Leafs. After Morgan Rielly is hauled down on a 2-on-1 and likely should have gotten a power play for the Leafs, he gets up, screams at the referee, who lets him away with it. He comes out of the zone, Tavares hits him with a pass, Rielly turns around, comes back in the zone, fires a long shot on goal, Nilsson doesn't save it, and Rielly has his goal after all, and the Sens lead is 2-1. And now we get to hear Leafs fans go on and on about how awesome Rielly is. I mean, they're right. Rielly was easily the best defenseman on the ice for either team last night, but that's only because Chabot wasn't playing. Chabot's just better than Rielly. There, I said it. I mean, nothing against Rielly. He's a terrific defenseman. I'm just sick of listening to the Leafs fans go on about every player and how great they are. Like, yeah, the Leafs are good, but give it a rest. Unfortunately, the Rielly goal gives the Leafs the momentum as they only trail by a goal. Thankfully, the Sens did something they haven't been terrific at this season and responded with a goal of their own not long later. Not even a minute and 20 seconds after Rielly cuts the lead back down to 1, Pajärvi gets his 8th of the year, and the Sens have their 2-goal lead back. The Sens force a Leafs turnover at the Sens blue line. Chris Tierney races back the other way. He feeds Rudolf Balcers as the Sens race in 3-on-2. Balcers goes across the ice to Pajärvi. He fires one off the post and in, and the Sens lead 3-1. That's Pajärvi's first goal in 18 games, as the Sens are snapping all the droughts. Little credit to Chris Tierney too. Recently, I thought he's been really strong for the Sens, and he started the rush on this one and picked up his lone point on the night. And while it was his lone point, I thought he had another solid night and probably could have ended up with more than 1 point. As for Pajärvi, the guy is a certified Leaf killer and isn't done there, as he shows he's the most vegan of all the Sens and loves eating his greens. The Sens force another Leafs turnover. Smith races back the other way, carries it into the Leafs zone, drops it for Pajärvi. He fires one off the post and in, and the Sens lead 4-1. And for the second time in 3 games against the Leafs this season, Pajärvi has a pair of goals, as 4 of his 9 goals this season have come against the Leafs. That goal stands up through the end of the second as the Sens take a 4-1 lead into the third period. 2 excellent periods of hockey, a 4-1 lead against the Leafs. Don't screw this up, boys. But not even 3.5 minutes into the third, with the Leafs wearing their St. Pat's jerseys, the luck of the Irish is on their side as Mort Borowiecki and Zach Smith get sent off at the exact same time, 2 minutes each, and the Leafs have a 5-on-3 for a full 2 minutes. The Sens almost get through it, but late in the power play, Matthews throws a puck towards the goal, it's bouncing in front, Tavares gets his stick on it, bangs it by Nilsson, and it's 4-2 Sens. And with that, despite it being a 5-on-3, I begin to get a little nervous. The Leafs are back to within 2, pulled off a huge comeback against the Flyers the night before, and are way too offensively talented. The Sens are also pretty good at blowing leads, so there's that. But this game was all about the answer for the Sens. After coming up with a response following the Leafs' first goal, they do it again after the Leafs' second goal. This one took a little bit longer, but not even 3.5 minutes later, the Sens have their 3-goal lead back. Harper fires a shot on goal, it misses the net, bounces out on the other side, Duclair is there, he bangs it in the empty net, and the Sens lead 5-2. And for once in my life, when I hear that the game is 5-2, I can actually enjoy it. But it doesn't stay 5-2 forever, as the Sens score again and extend their lead. The Leafs have an excellent chance at one end, Nylander fans on the shot, the Sens race back the other way, Smith feeds Cachet, his shot is stopped, Lindbergh picks up the puck as a trailer, fires it over Sparks, and the Sens lead 6-2. This goal was so amazing to watch. So many times this season, the Sens have had an excellent chance at one end, haven't been able to score, the other teams picked up the puck, marched back the other way, and scored a goal themselves. Seeing Ottawa do that to the other team for a change was a welcome change. And a special credit to some of the depth guys that Ottawa got at the deadline too. I gave them huge props about a week ago for the way they've played so far, and then they went kind of quiet, and I found myself thinking on Friday when I was making the video, geez, these guys haven't done a whole lot the last little while. Then they come out against the Leafs, and all 3 of them get a goal. How perfect. That's how things would end, and the Sens would skate away with a 6-2 win. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. I've done a lot of rubbing it in on the Leafs and their fans so far in this video, and the Sens have to play the Leafs in a couple weeks, so I better be careful. Let's just get into good news, bad news. Really, there could be 2 good news segments from last night. Do we go with the Sens' depth, which was incredible last night, with Pajärvi scoring twice, Gibbons getting a goal, Duclair getting a goal, Lindbergh getting a goal, and Cachet getting a goal? Or do we go with Ottawa's ability to respond, not letting the Leafs get back in the game? I guess this Sens team really doesn't have depth anymore, so let's just go with the response. Every time the Leafs cut into the Sens lead, Ottawa was ready to answer right back, and that is the good news. You look at the game last night, and honestly, I truly believe that the ability of Ottawa to respond to the Leafs' goals was the only reason they were able to win that game last night. Yeah, they were excellent. Yeah, they were pretty solid defensively, but if they didn't get those responses, the Leafs get the chance to hang around. You look at the first Leafs goal. The Sens are coasting along up 2-0, then Riley scores all of a sudden, it's 2-1. Things could have easily gone from there to the Leafs having momentum, hanging around for a while, eventually taking over the game, and absolutely blowing Ottawa out of the game. But Pajärvi scored less than a minute and a half later, completely washing out any momentum the Leafs had and completely wiping away the fact that they were only down by a goal. All of a sudden, instead of the Leafs feeling good about themselves and only trailing by a goal, they're not feeling so good about themselves, they trail by 2 goals and have less of a chance of coming back. Then early in the third, they get a 5-on-3 power play, score once, and have cut the Sens lead back to 2. Again, that's a situation where if the Leafs can hang around for a few minutes, start to get their legs under them, they can take over the game and potentially come back. But again, a few minutes later, the Sens come back down the other way, score a goal, completely wipe out the Leafs' momentum, and regain momentum themselves. If you want to win hockey games, coming up with a response to the other team's goals is absolutely an excellent way to win. If you've got the lead, they cut into it, and you score again, they're never going to be able to tie the game. But even more important than that, you take away momentum from the other team and don't allow them to feel comfortable. Ottawa was very good at responding to the Leafs' goals last night, and that is the good news. Now, for the bad news. Speaking of not giving the Leafs momentum, the Sens power play was awful last night, especially early in the game, and that is the bad news. It just seemed like a lot of times last night, the Sens would get on the power play, and the wheels would just be a-spinning. They wouldn't be going anywhere, but they'd be burning rubber. They'd come up the ice, they'd turn the puck over, the Leafs would fire it back down the ice. Or they'd come up the ice, get into the Leafs zone, and then fire the puck back down the ice themselves because they couldn't complete a pass. The Sens did seem to settle in on the power play as things wore on, but it still wasn't good enough. Last night they didn't need it, but other nights they could. If the Sens want to win more games, they're going to need their power play to be better. Last night it wasn't, and that is the bad news. Next up, The Sens head out west for their Western Canadian road swing, kicking things off in Vancouver against the Canucks on Wednesday night. That contest will be the second and final meeting of the season between the two teams, after the Canucks beat the Sens 4-3 in overtime in Ottawa on January 2nd. After a strong start to the season, much like the Sens, the Canucks have tailed off lately and now sit 10 points out of a playoff spot with a game in hand. Lately though, it hasn't been too good for the Canucks, as they have just 2 wins in their last 11 games. The Canucks also come into that contest as a very busy team, as they visit Dallas tonight and Chicago tomorrow. That means the Sens will come into that contest as the much more rested team, and they better be ready to take advantage. See you Wednesday night.